Written by Elizabeth Dunn and Michael Norton, Happy Money focuses on a topic often ignored in discussions about wealth and happiness. That is, how to spend money to maximize happiness rather than how to earn more money. The book challenges the common idea that the great wealth directly equals greater happiness, and instead talks about 5 evidence-based principles for smarter spending, which are buy experiences, make it a treat, buy time, pay now, consume later, and invest in others. This topic is critical for OB students because they will likely take on managerial or team leadership roles in the future. As OB students, understanding how money influences individual happiness directly ties to the key topics like employee motivation, team morale, and organizational well-being. Knowing how to make the effective financial decision works can help future managers design better employee benefits and finally increase workplace satisfaction and productivity. Additionally, the books focus on overcoming biased spending habits, helping students reflect on their decision making, which is also an essential skill for leading others. The book not only teaches practical spending strategies, but also have an influence on how we think about money and happiness. The first lesson I learned from this book is that experiential purchases like trips, concerts, and shared meals create more lasting happiness than material goods. Research cited in the book shows that owning property, which is often seen as a life goal, does not correlate with higher overall happiness. However, experiences can foster social connection and memorable stories. This challenges the common belief held by many people that buying good things will lead to lasting satisfaction. For example, a Harvard study found that students assigned to undesirable dorms were just as happy as those in desirable ones. That's because its social experiences instead of the dorm's quality that shaped their well-beings. This could really shift my perspective of employee motivation. That is, team activity is more important than expensive office upgrades, as the former one will better increase team cohesion. The second lesson Happy Money gives is that buying time is a high-impact investment in well-being. Buying time means using money to outsource unpleasant tasks to free up time for meaningful activities. This challenges the belief that saving money by doing everything ourselves. For example, Intel's email-free Tuesdays and Patagonia's paid leaves are corporate examples of buying time for employees, leading to higher job satisfaction. Time scarcity undermines productivity and happiness more than we realize. As future managers, prioritizing policies like flexible work hours can have a bigger impact on team performance than raise salary alone. The third lesson is that spending money on others, which is called prosocial spending, increases happiness more than spending on oneself, even with small amounts. In the study, participants who spent $5 to $20 on a friend or charity reported greater happiness at the end of the day than those who spent the money on themselves. That's because it satisfied people's need of belonging, which leads to warm relationships and positive psychological states. This greatly changes how I think about the importance of social connection. This psychological fulfillment derived from social relationships is far more profound and enduring than the pleasure brought by material consumption. Although these principles are based on evidence and provides people with a new perspective of the relationship between happiness and consumption, there are still some limitations. One limitation of the book is that most of the research data and cases are derived from samples in Western cultural backgrounds such as the US and Canada and really considers cultural differences in what brings happiness from spending. In collectivistic cultures such as India, South Korea, and China, happiness is more related to their reputation and fulfilling responsibilities. For example, investing in an expensive car as the symbol of social status may be more meaningful than buying experiences for themselves. It's something the book ignores. This neglect could mislead OB students working in global teams as they may consume Western spending principles apply universally. To deal with this, the author could include case studies from non-Western countries. This would help OB students become more culturally adaptable managers and able to adjust spending strategies according to team diversity. Another critic is that the book overemphasizes positive outcomes of delayed consumption without addressing its practical problems. The authors argue that waiting for a purchase increases anticipation and enjoyment. However, they fail to acknowledge that delays can lead to frustration or unsatisfied needs. For example, waiting to buy a new laptop when the old devices break would disrupt a student's ability to complete assignment. Additionally, the book does not discuss how people with anxiety or uncertainty about the future. They may find waiting stressful rather than enjoyable. So, a stronger approach would be to codify the principle, delaying consumption for pleasures, but prioritize immediate purchases for necessities. This would help readers avoid blindly applying the principle to situations where it could do more harm than good. Based on the book's principles, here are some strategies for OB students to practice and utilize in different situations. For OB students, when participating in group projects, a small portion of the budget can be used for shared experiences rather than individual rewards. For instance, after the project is completed, organize team activities such as karaoke or hiking instead of giving each member a gift card. This approach applies the buying experiences principle, sharing moments to enhance trust and communication skills, which are crucial for future workplace collaboration. At the same time, it also helps team practice designing team-centered reward plans and accumulate skills for future management. The second piece of advice is to turn daily work or study routines into treats to maintain motivation, which means applying the make it treat principle by limiting small pleasures to specific moments. For example, only allowing yourself to enjoy your favorite music after completing a difficult assignment. This prevents burnout and keeps routine tasks engaging. When OB students become future managers, they can also use this strategy, setting treat milestones for employees such as a coffee break after finishing a project to keep a high productivity without burnout. The last one is buying time to balance work and life. OB students can start practicing and buy time principle now to prepare for busy management roles. For example, if students have to spend 2 hours weekly grocery shopping, they can just use a little more money to order groceries online to free up time for studying or relaxing. Similarly, as managers, delegating tedious tasks like data entry to a journal team member, they can focus more on mentoring. By doing this frequently, they can learn how to identify which tasks to outsource, thus to save time and energy for work that matters. Overall, Happy Money offers important insights into human behavior that are very useful for effective future managers.